Good morning, everybody. I'm Rob Slade with Rob Slade's Old School at S3 Training Center. Today for our YouTube video, we're going to talk about the principles of strength training. How do I get stronger? How do I stay strong? And how to do it correctly and safely, especially when you're over the age of 40, where we've all got all kinds of injuries and things that we're dealing with. First principle we're going to talk about is that for every muscle that does one thing, you have another one that does directly opposite, the opposite movement. So if I have my little trusty old-time Sears dumbbells here, and if I do dumbbell curls pulling up like this, for every movement that pulls this up here like this, there's another muscle that does the direct opposite. So if I'm going to do dumbbell curls pulling up, I need to do a movement where I do kickbacks back. Every muscle in the body works this way. So if I have a pushing movement, I need to have a pulling movement. When I push out on the bench press, I have muscles that pull myself back. If I kick my leg out to a leg extension, my hamstring pulls my leg back. So for every exercise program, I have got to have balancing muscle exercises to make sure I work the counter muscles. If I don't, then I end up subjecting myself to possible injury. What I find a lot of times when I'm running, you'll find that most people pull hamstrings. It's because their quadriceps, the front leg, is a lot stronger than the back of the leg. So in order to balance that out, especially if we're an athlete or weekend warrior, we need to make sure we work opposing muscle groups. So starting from the neck down, if we work our neck forward, we must work it backwards. If we work inside this way, we have to work inside that way. If we push up, we have to pull down. If we do curls up, we have to kick back. If we end up doing pushing out, we got to do pulling in. If we do our abs, crunching up, we must work our lower back. So every muscle in the body has a counter muscle that works directly opposite. So when you're setting up your strength training program, you need to make sure that you work not only the primary muscle, but the muscle that does the opposite movement. Second thing you have to worry about is intensity. How do we get stronger? I have these dumbbells here again. They're about 10 pounds. If I come in and I start doing curls and I do 10 sets, I could do a set of 10 repetitions with the 10-pound dumbbells and stop after that. In 3 months of training, by the time I get done, I'm no stronger than when I started. What I have to do is have a range of repetitions in order to work with. So instead of saying 10 is my goal, then I start saying I'm going to work between 8 to 12 repetitions. If I can't do as many as 8 repetitions with the 10-pound dumbbells, I'll drop the weight. But if I end up doing 8 repetitions, I keep going, and when I go over 12 repetitions, that's my cue to raise the weight up again. So I come in here, I start my dumbbell curls, I go till I can't go anymore. As long as I go up with proper form, up and down, if I get 11 reps, I keep the weight at 10 pounds until I actually end up going over the 12 reps. So the repetition range would be 8 to 12. If I can only do 5 or 6, I'm way too heavy. So I'll drop the weight down. I do 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I go over 12. That's my cue to raise the weight up. I don't raise it up a lot. I may raise it up 5 pounds. Then I'm going to drop back down again, probably into the 8 repetition range again. By the time I drop back down again, I start building back up. If I don't do it this way, then I'll never get stronger. I've got to progressively raise the resistance that I'm using if I intend on getting stronger. So, we look at weight training again. I'm not only doing every muscle in the body, opposing muscle groups, curls, kickbacks, pull downs, military presses, but I have to work on raising the weights with each and every one of those. So what I will do is, I will do my set, I do it till I cannot maintain good form again, almost to exhaustion. When I go over my repetition range of 12 repetitions, then I will actually raise the weight up the next time. If I drop down below and I can't do at least 8, then I actually hold the weight back and drop it down. Now, we have to look at recovery time. If I'm going to get stronger, my muscles grow stronger at rest, not when they're working out. So I'm not coming to the gym and doing my curls and having my arms exhausted and they're getting stronger. They get stronger in the recovery time between the time I just worked out and the time I come back and work out again. So incrementally, the muscles get stronger as they have a recovery time and they recover from proper nutrition and proper rest. So the higher the intensity level of the exercise per minute you're working out, the longer the recovery time. So if we go out and do a distance run, as we're doing a distance run, that tends to be lower intensity over the minute time span. We can come back and run every day. We can swim every day. We can bike every day. We get into weight training. Per minute of activity, the intensity level is much higher, so the recovery time is going to be longer, which is where the principle of working out every other day comes into play. So I need to give a recovery time. I work out with my muscles. Next day I recover. I come back the next day, 2 days later, and I'm incrementally stronger. So again, the 3 principles. out those muscles. We then have to work on raising the intensity level while we're working out. And then the third is we have to recover. If we don't have the recovery time, then we're not going to get any stronger. We're actually going to get weaker. As I started lifting when I was 11 years old, you got a wall chart, and it said 3 sets of 10, 3 times a week. Well, when you tell an 11-year-old kid that, guess what? You're telling him, wow, if 3 sets is good, 30 must be better. If 3 days a week is good, 7 days must be better. So I start working out on Monday. By the time I get to Friday, I can barely move my arms. And why? Because I'm not giving myself any recovery time. Not to mention, I thought biceps for the whole arm, so I'm doing biceps and neglecting my triceps. So the next year, I start getting tendonitis in my arms and things of that sort, and I'm not balancing out the muscles in my body. So then we move on to the next step. The next step is proper form. Proper form is critical. When I do dumbbell curls, the bicep is the muscle doing the primary work. So I need to do it slow and controlled. 2 reasons I don't swing. If I swing like this, reason number 1 is I'm not getting any work on my biceps. It's the momentum of the rest of my body propelling the weight up, which means I'm not working the muscle that I'm primarily interested in working anyway. Second, and probably more important for those over 40, there's a high injury rate. If I start swinging like this, next thing you know, I pull my back muscle, I pull my shoulders, I pull the muscle doing something or injured some other part of my body. So, 2 reasons I need to make sure every movement is slow and controlled. All the way up, all the way down nice and slow is first off to work the primary muscle I'm interested in working, and second is to prevent injury. So when I look at doing proper form should always be slow and controlled. When I do the curl, slow up, lower back down slowly. Up slowly, down slowly, up slowly, down slowly. That works with every muscle in the body. When I start getting ballistic movements, then I start again, not working the primary muscle I'm interested in working, and second, I subject myself to injury. So let's look at the 4 principles we've talked about so far. Okay. We've got intensity level, how to maintain intensity to get stronger. I have to progressively raise my resistance up in order to get stronger. First, second, I have to be able to go work opposing muscle groups. I work the biceps, I work the triceps. I work the shoulders, I work the lats, work the leg extensions, I work the hamstrings. Next thing is recovery time. I have to have a recovery in between each workout if I'm going to get stronger. Remember again, muscles get stronger at rest and not while they're working. So in order to get stronger, I have to have that rest time, which incorporates 2 things. First off is rest time, and second is proper nutrition. If I don't take in proper nutrition, then I'm not going to rebuild the muscles that I need to be able to get stronger. So again, rest and nutrition. Then we look at proper form. I have to maintain proper form, which incorporates 2 things. First off, full range of motion, all the way up, all the way down. When I do my curls again, I go all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down. Every movement is slow and controlled with proper form on every exercise. Let me explain one thing about full range of motion. In order to work the muscle to its full range of motion, I need to go through and exercise the full range of motion. Strength is actually range specific. So if I start doing curls here and only go to there, I only strengthen up from there to there. I've done nothing to strengthen up from here to there. So I need to work full range of motion for 2 reasons. First off, to maximize muscle growth and to make sure the strength range goes to the entire range of motion. So these are the principles that we have to work on getting stronger. And again, we even get into things such as breathing technique. Okay? When you do proper technique again, okay, you exhale when you're doing the forceful movement, inhale on the relaxation movement. Okay, so it's exhale on the way up, inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up, inhale on the way down. All this goes into proper movement. And again, make sure no movements are ballistic, bouncy, and we don't want to work on getting anything where we're actually cheating on the exercise. No swinging, no good range of motion. Now, we're going to get into a couple other things. The benefits of doing free weights versus machine weights. When you look back here in the gym, we have a lot of machines in the front here. We have power racks and free weights in the back. When you work on free weights, especially for an athlete, the benefits are that it requires more muscles to be used. So when I'm bench pressing with a free weight bar, as I'm pushing out, not only do I require the muscles required to push out, but I have muscles that are required to keep the bar from falling backwards, forwards, and sideways. So I develop a lot of balance and a lot of stability muscles to control my body in order to keep that weight up. The The problem is that the advantage of that for, say, an athlete of developing full body control is also the disadvantage. Because I then run the risk of injury because I could drop the weight on myself, I could let it slide off, I could let the weights fall off, and things of that sort. So the injury rate goes up when I'm using free weights. But yet the advantages are also there because I develop better body balance using the free weights. Initially, for people that are initially starting out, machines actually work really well because they tend to isolate the muscle. And if you look back, every one of these machines are basically self-spotting. So I'm not going to drop the weight on myself. I'm not going to injure myself as long as, again, I follow slow and controlled movements. So again, these are the principles of strength training. Let's go over them one more time so that way we know a good basis of how to develop our strength training program. If you do not follow all these, then no matter what program you're on, it will not work. When you look at a program and say, okay, does it incorporate all these principles that I just stated to you, then it's a program that will work. If it doesn't, then it's not going to work for you. Again, we're looking at developing opposing muscle groups, working up and back, kick out leg, pull forward. Every muscle that has one movement has one that does directly opposite. In order to get stronger, I need to maintain the intensity level, which means I work through a range of repetitions. If I can't do a minimum of 8, then I lower the weight. When I go over 12 repetitions, I raise the weight up slightly. Then you have to have a recovery time. So I go through recovering. I take a higher intensity level of workout, the longer the recovery time. So for weight training conventionally, work out on Monday, rest on Tuesday, come back on Wednesday, rest on Thursday, come back on Friday. Next thing again, full range of motion and proper form, which includes slow and controlled movements, no ballistic, no bouncing, no swinging with the weights. And then the next thing is actually breathing and deciding whether we're going to work on free weights, machine weights, and decide on the safety factor of both and go accordingly. We hope this gives you a lot of information when starting your training program. And remember, all these principles I gave you today have got to be present if you're going to do a strength and conditioning program that's going to work for you. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call at 443-474-8090 or email me robslade1@verizon.net. We hope to see you next week again for more tips on strength training and conditioning. Have a great day.